You know, we spend our entire lives working, saving, and investing. All for what? To build a better future, right? But what actually happens to all that hard work when we're not around to manage it anymore? Today, we're going to tackle a really critical question. Is your wealth set up to build a legacy, or is it a ticking time bomb for family chaos?
So let's just kick things off with a question that gets right to the heart of it all. Just imagine for a second. The wealth you've so carefully built up, year after year, suddenly becomes the very thing that tears your family apart. Now, this isn't some far-off hypothetical. For millions of families, this is a real and, frankly, a painful reality.
Okay, to wrap your head around the sheer scale of what we're dealing with, just look at this number. By 2030, an estimated 150 lakh crores, that's 150 trillion rupees, is going to be passed from one generation to the next in India. To put that into perspective, that's more than half of the country's entire GDP. We are talking about one of the single biggest wealth transfers in our nation's history.
So let's dive right into our first section, what's being called India's Great Wealth Transfer. And believe me, this isn't just a story about the ultra-rich. This is something that's going to affect families from every walk of life. But here's the kicker, the really scary part. As huge as this wealth transfer is, a shocking 70% of it is actually at risk of, well, disappearing. It's set to be completely eroded by family fights, eaten alive by legal fees, and chopped down by taxes, all for one simple reason, a total lack of planning. And that brings us to the harsh reality of what happens when that planning just isn't there. We're talking about a legacy that's not left to your loved ones, but is left to absolute, utter chaos.
And look at this. This slide really shows you just how widespread the problem is. Research from One Finance found that over 90%, that's 90%, of Indians do not have a valid will. Think about that. 9 out of every 10 families are being left completely unprepared, forced to find their way through a legal nightmare.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. There are two very different roads your family can go down. On one side, without a will, you're looking at frozen assets, bitter family feuds, judges making decisions for you, and endless delays and fees. But on the other side, with a will, you get a seamless transfer, your wishes are actually followed, and most importantly, your family gets peace of mind while the wealth is preserved.
So why does all this chaos happen? Well, if there's no will, the law has to step in. And for many people, that means the Hindu Succession Act becomes the default decision maker for their money. Now, on paper, it says to divide property equally, which sounds fair, right? But the law can't possibly understand your family's unique situation or your unspoken wishes. And that, right there, is the perfect recipe for conflict.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about how this family problem blows up into a full-blown financial disaster. This is what I like to call the compounding catastrophe.
So let's just imagine for a second, you've got this well-managed portfolio of 5 crore rupees. It's something you've built over a lifetime of smart saving and investing. It's a fantastic nest egg, a really solid foundation for the next generation.
Now, with the magic of compounding, that money doesn't just sit there. If you just leave it alone, invested wisely, that 5 crores could easily double to 10 crores in just about 6 years, let's say at a reasonable 12% return. That is the incredible power of compounding working its magic. But, and this is the big but, what happens when your heirs can't agree on anything? What happens when they're stuck fighting in court and they have to liquidate, sell off all those assets, just to pay the lawyers or to split the cash and walk away from each other?
The answer? It's simple, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. The growth just stops. All that future potential is just wiped out. That magical engine of wealth creation that you spent your life building gets shut down. Permanently. The magic of compounding is killed. Forever.
All right, that was a lot, and it's pretty scary stuff, I know. But now, let's talk solutions. The good news is, securing your legacy isn't some impossibly complex thing. It really just comes down to having the right tools in your toolkit.
It really all boils down to 3 key steps. First, you've got the quick and easy win, just updating your nominations. Second, you have the absolute foundation of any good plan, drafting a will. And third, for those with more complex situations, there's advanced protection using a trust. Let's break each one down.
Let's start with the easiest win of them all, updating nominations. Now, this is super important, so listen up. A nominee is just a caretaker of your assets. They are not the legal owner who inherits them. But updating them across all your accounts, your mutual funds, EPF, insurance, demat accounts, is a vital first step. It costs absolutely nothing, and it helps your family get access to funds quickly, avoiding those massive legal delays while the will gets sorted out.
Okay, step 2. This is the big one. It's the absolute non-negotiable foundation of it all. A will. This is the legal document that overrides those default succession laws we talked about. It's basically your voice speaking for you after you're gone, making sure your assets go to who you want, how you want, and when you want. It is the ultimate tool for preventing chaos. And then, for some folks, there's a third, more advanced tool, a trust. The easiest way to think about it is like a secure box. You place your assets inside and you put a trusted person, a trustee, in charge of handing them out according to a specific set of rules that you create. This is incredibly powerful for managing high-value assets or, say, protecting the financial future of your kids, giving you control long after you're gone.
So, we know the problem, we know the tools. How do we actually turn all of this knowledge into real action? Let's move from just having wealth to building a true, lasting legacy.
Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. Here are your immediate first steps, what you can do like today. 1. Gather up and organize all your financial documents, deeds, statements, the whole shebang. 2. Log into every single one of your accounts and check who your nominee is. Seriously, do it today. And 3. Have a conversation. Talk to a financial advisor and a lawyer to get a real, formal plan in place.
And at the end of the day, let's remember the real goal here. This isn't just about paperwork. The whole point is to make sure that the wealth you worked so hard to compound becomes a source of multi-generational power and freedom for your family, not some diluted inheritance that just vanishes in a single generation. So, I'll leave you with one final essential question to really ask yourself today. Take a hard, honest look at your plan, or maybe your lack of a plan, and decide, is the path you're on right now building a legacy of unity for the people you love most, or are you unintentionally setting the stage for division? The choice is yours to make.